Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, Immortal Moments Arts. And I thought I would just do another quick video on how I do e-cards for birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and things like that. People really love it if you can give them a little special thing that you made for them. And it's pretty quick and easy to do here in Howler. I'm in Howler 2021 now, so there's a few new things, but most of the general things along are going to be the same. A lot of the filters have been tremendously overhauled to work faster and much more steady. So if you haven't upgraded to 2021, make sure that you contact them to do so. If you're upgrading, there's always a discount. And if you're new, well, get in there and get it. It's a wonderful, wonderful program. So for my cards, I usually will start with a render noise of some sort. When it comes up, it usually comes up in two-tone. So black and white, and then you can adjust, how much noise it has. Depending on the card I'm doing, I might have a little bit of noise. I might have 9 or 10. 8, 9, and 10 tend to be pretty good. And then usually the RGB. And if you don't like what it is there, you can just click right there on it so that you can get different. It generates a new seed. I pretty much always put seamless on. It just makes for a nicer, cleaner image. So if I have something in mind, like maybe flowers or something like that, then I'll look for my colors to fit with that. If I'm doing a sky or something like that, working with children's things, I might pick different colors depending on that. So here's a nice one right here. I've got lots of blues and purples and pinks, and then I've got some greens there on the edges. So I'll say okay. Again, depending on what I'm doing, I might go back in again and render again. But this time, it's remembering what I had previously. So instead of doing opaque, I'm going to go in and do XOR, or I might do or I might do and then again you check your scale. I think I'm gonna do OR, which gives me a nice light, pretty color. And again, each time you click it, you're gonna get a slightly different look to it. You can do all kinds of really neat things with it. You can also, choose difference or complement. There's a lot of, things in here just by going through and looking at each of the different possibilities to see what you like. So I'm going to go with this OR right here. Let's see, a couple more. I like that right there. Very nice. So now I've got a general background. I could, leave the edges jaggedy, as you can see here, or I can go in and blur. A Gaussian blur is very adjustable. That pulls things together. There it really just gets color pools without much else. So I'm going to do right about there. That looks really good. So now I have a nice soft background and things. I'm going to swap out here, and now I'm going to go in and I'm going to render this cold lava field. There's a lot of different things that you can choose render wise. You can have really small scale, or you can have a pretty big scale. I want a fairly large scale. These are also really nice for a good base for starting mountains and landscapes. Somewhere about there. This one is just black and white, so it's a matter of kind of looking at the patterns and seeing what you like for the patterns. So I'm going to go with that one, and then we swap back here again. This S is swap, and that swaps the two sides. You can see them right down here. There's my main, and here's my swap. And if I hit that swap, there's my swap, and here's my main. If you're not sure where you are, right up here, it tells you swap. So now I want to go back to my main. I want to leave this swap back here because I'm going to use it as a displacement map. So I can come down here to displace. There's a lot of different possibilities and things for this. I happen to like pool displace and the color twirl displace a lot. Some of the other ones are nice, but those are probably my two favorite, is the color twirl and the pool. So I do the pool displace here, and you can adjust how much swirl that there is in it and how much it's displacing. You can see the movement back there. So you want a decent amount of displacing, and then, you know, check your swirl as to how much. You can make a really neat marbled background this way. Here we go. That's looking very pretty there. You can change how it handles the borders so that it either continues to be seamless or it mirrors it. So there's lots of possibilities there. I'm going to leave it on mirror and say OK. So now I have a nice background that's got some movement, some things in it that, you know, very cool looking. If I want to keep it, you know, fairly calm, I can leave it pastel-y. That might be nice for, like, say, baby invitations or something. I can go into the color effects here, and by moving this around, it changes the way that the colors act and react. So you can get some pretty, you know, bright stuff. That's pretty nice right there. That, you know, everything gone. So I think I like that. Now we have a little bit more vibrancy in the colors. You can also expand the dynamic range, or another possibility would be in the photographic filters. You can do a soft contrast improvement. Might bring that down a little, so if you don't want quite as much you know, fuzz in it. And you can adjust how much softness you have, how much exposure, and you get to see pretty much real time. If you kind of want to see what the comparisons are, if you just click side by side, then that'll show you one side is what it was before, and here you can see that line down the middle, and that's what it becomes. So that kind of helps you to see what you're changing when you do that. Turn our exposure down here just a little bit. So I like that pretty well. So now we've got a even more excitement here. It looks like almost a little bit of sky there. You can start painting into that, paint some trees and things. But for our card here, we're going to go in and get a brush. So open up. This lets us get to all different kinds of other brushes here besides what's in the media browser or the shapes or the other settings and modes. There's brushes everywhere. I have all of my brushes in its own little library so that I can go in and find them. These are all PNGs, so you can get PNG brushes all over the place. You can also convert various ABR brushes that you would find in Photoshop or that you use in GIMP, and use the ABR Mate, which is a free program you can download. You can then convert them all to PNGs that you can then use. And there's lots of free brushes out there. So I'm going to go to Nature Textures, since I kind of have in mind sort of a flowery kind of thing. And so here, got some decorative strokes and things, some other pieces that might look really nice. There's corners, some hearts, filigree. Here's some floral ornaments and things that's got a nouveau look to them, or just some, you know, straight out flowers. And I gotta quit saying and things, because I say and things all the time. Some different ornament pieces that go on there, deco, some larger flowered pieces. Let's see. I'll go back. Got some Japanese florals. Oh, that's a really nice piece right there. This is really pretty. Right there. Another Japanese floral. If we turn this card sideways, that would look really nice there. I'm gonna go with this one. These are saved as PNGs. That's important for you to do it that way so that the backgrounds will be transparent. Make sure you're set black and white because we want the black parts to show up, the white parts to be transparent. Let me say open. It converts it. And now we have the piece. This adjusts the size. If you're finding things aren't adjusting, make sure that your transform custom brush is on. If you decide you don't want to see this, you can turn the eye off and then you'll just have the center point. I like to have the eye on so I can see what it's looking like. And let's make this a little bit bigger. So there, converting it a little bit too big. So if I want it to be more precise, I can just come right in here and type it right in. So here we are. I like that greenery there. I like the butterfly kind of going up into the purple. If I'm making this a birthday card though, I haven't left myself any space to put the lettering. So we're going to drop back down to 25. And that fits nicely there, or it could fit right up there. Give myself a little bit of space from the edge. The yellow, well, that looks okay. The blue up here, I like this. I like that really well. So I'm going to change the step to 0 and hit the 3 little dots. That means just stamp it down. You can also go into brush and stamp tool. That will also do it if you're not exactly sure how you want to adjust it. This allows you to make some other things if you want to rotate it or flip it, to do drop shadows. There's a lot of other things that you can do with it. Let's go ahead and put the drop shadow on there. We're allowing the enlargements. We could change our color of our shadow if we want to do green or purple, and our size and whatnot. So now we've added the drop. The drop shadow is ready to be added. So I decided I wanted this spot right up there, and click down. Sometimes it takes 2 clicks, but that's usually all that it takes. So we have it there. Another way, if you wanted to, this has a real fine drop shadow around it. If you wanted a larger drop shadow, you can go into your settings, to the FX, enable FX, and shadow. And this means that once that stamps down, we have a shadow underneath of it. So that's another way for that to work. You can't adjust the color when you do it right here, but just for a regular shadow, it does an excellent job. Make sure you turn that back off again. And so now we've got our little butterfly and flower. We could color in our butterfly or things, but that's not supposed to be the main part. The main part is supposed to be our lettering. So next we're going to select the text tool. Go right up here, all over everything. You can choose how, if you want it to be centered or left or right, insofar as how you want that to go. And then this brings up our fonts. You'll pick a font that you like. It will read all of the fonts that you have on your machine that are true type fonts and open fonts. So we want something that looks nice. This lets us kind of get an idea. You can choose bold and underline, italics, etc. I want this to be over here on the edge since we are going by the flower. I can do this on another, add another layer to this, or I can do it straight on the layer. If I'm a little, unsure where I might want to put things or how I want to do it, a lot of times I'll add another layer just to work on and then go from there. So we're gonna say that is a little issue that we've been trying to get fixed for a while. There we go. And that's another reason to go ahead and add another layer. Then if you have a problem, you can just blank that out and you're ready to go. So happy birthday. Let's see, we'll make up a name here, Alana. Okay, I want to, because of the way that this font is, I'm gonna bring that out a little bit, and then now I can adjust the font. If you want more than one font size, then you need to do it separately, because whatever font size this is, everything in the text box is going to be that size. So I might do like happy birthday a little bit smaller, and then do Alana as a second thing larger if I wanted to do things that way. But I like this pretty well. Go down just a little bit. Also, watch that you don't get too close to the edge here. If you're just stamping down and applying the text as is, that's not usually a problem. If you are doing alpha, which is what I'm getting ready to do here, a lot of times you will miss that bottom part if it's too close to the edge. And as you see here, well, maybe you can see here, let me turn on the overlay. You can see here that it's missing this bottom part. That's really easy to fix. You say show text box, selection, deselect, and then reactivate the text box. You can see the text is there. Just bring this down a little bit so it just goes off the edge of the paper. As you notice, it didn't really change anything else here. We're still on alpha, and apply the text. So there we can see now that it has all of it. I'm going to turn the overlay back off. So once you have this, I always make a copy of it right here, makes a copy and saves it right here. This is really handy because now I can go back to my main layer, and I will say selection and grow it about 3 or 4. So that's grown the things. Since it's so hard to see, I'm going to turn that overlay back on again. So that's grown the letters and whatnot. Everything that's of course inside the marching ants is what's going to be selected. And so now I'm going to do clear selected to I think in this case that white would be very nice, and that clears it off of our picture down here. Now I can go back and replace. So now you see this extra little line. Let me take that overlay back off again. Our lines are now inside because we grew it before, and now we've just replaced it back to the original lettering. So I can say I can clear it to another color. I can clear it to black. So if I chose a primary color or a secondary color, I could change it to that. Change it to black here. That's the little white line outline separates it really nicely there. And then if I just want to add a little extra pretty to it, I can add a little bit of smoothness and emboss it. So now it's got a nice little embossed look to it. From here, because it lightens this, if I wanted to go in and then add glow to it, I could select like a green or a yellow, bright yellow. Let's do that real quick. So let's do yellow. See how that looks for us. With the way that glow works, it always goes to the inside of whatever's selected. So when we do the glow now, it's going to glow to the inside. If I wanted the outside to glow, then I would I would invert the selection. But for right now, we just wanted to do that. And so we'll come down here to effects and glow and bring it up quite a bit. So a little bit too much. Undo. And let's do that again. Glow. And this time we're only going to do about 20. Do about 20. There we go. Now we've got a little bit of glow there around the edges without it taking over everything. If I decide I don't like that, I can again just undo it. If I decide, hey, I'd like to see a little bit brighter, I can just hit the A for again, and it will do the exact same thing, and so that brightens it up a little bit more. And again, if I don't like that, I just go backwards until I've undone it. And I'm not really liking that yellow on there. I like this the way it is. So we then can unselect, so deselect, Control D or deselect, and we've got a nice little card here. If we want to put our put a border or a frame around it, we could do that. You can select this, and whatever brush that we have is what it's going to use to make a either a filled square or an unfilled square, which is the unfilled is what we have selected. So I'm going to go to an airbrush and then turn this way down, make sure that we're off of our dots. And bring this out until we have just a nice light little edge around. I don't like the way that that edge went. We want to make it match. So there we go. We have a nice little edge around it. We've got our happy birthday, Alana. We can get rid of this so that now we just have the single card and it's ready to save.